So if you clicked on this video, you're most likely thinking about quitting trading, or the thought is creeping into your mind. Before we continue this video, let me show you this clip really quickly.
Currently, the market regimes are not what I needed to be to hit this goal. However, I'm not using that as an excuse, because if by January 17th, I don't get to 1 to 3 payouts at least from trading, I will completely pivot my energy from trading into other ventures. And if this sounds like I'm quitting, it's because I am. You see,
That video was 2 months ago, yet here I am still making content for you guys and still trading. I did have an uncomfortable conversation with myself because at this current moment in time, I was really thinking about quitting. And that conversation I had with myself is the same conversation we're gonna have with you today to find out whether or not you should quit trading entirely. If you don't know who I am, let me give you a little backstory. My name is Shane Gab. I've been trading futures for about 2 years, and I've been trading overall for about 4, and I've yet to make a single dollar from trading. Before we get started with this video, let's go ahead and list out what it's not. It's not gonna be another motivational video on why you shouldn't quit trading. It's not gonna be another motivational video on my story and how I decided to continue trading and the best thing happened and I started making money. It's not gonna be any of that. It's gonna be a realistic conversation where we're gonna find out by the end of this video whether you should quit trading or not. So I'm gonna ask you a list of questions that I asked myself, and you can either answer it to yourself or in the comment sections below. But I'm gonna give you my answer so you can kind of get an idea of how these questions work. And we're gonna go through 3 parts, and by the end, we'll know if you decide if you wanna continue trading or if you wanna pursue something else. But the first thing that we should get out of the way is that quitting is not failure. Failure is psychological. You draw the line in the sand, and that is what determines what failure is. So in a way, you control what failure is, or you control how you define failure. Now, most people view quitting as failure because you give up on something. But in this case, by the end of this video, if you do decide to quit, you won't be giving up on something. Instead, you will be making a smart decision with your energy portfolio to shift to something that serves you more than trading is currently. So let's get that out the way. So usually, and I'm gonna kind of look at my iPad here for notes. So I have my notes on my iPad, so this is what we're gonna kind of go through with a little bit. So I think the first things first is we need to kind of identify why you wanna quit in the first place. So majority of the times when you're thinking about quitting something, or just trading in general, it's for mainly 2 reasons. It's either irrational reason or it's a rational reason. Those are the 2 main reasons. An irrational reason is something like you blown an account, you blew your funded eval for the 50th time. Well, maybe that's not so irrational, but you get the point. It's basically outcome based, and it's something that just happened in the past that, if it didn't happen at all, you wouldn't even care. You wouldn't even be having these thoughts, really. But rational reasons are far more important. And this is what I kind of look at it like this. If you're thinking about quitting because you're on a losing streak, or you've had a few bad trades, or you blew an eval, you blew a funded account, I want you to understand that it's just part of the game that you're playing. It isn't anything bad. It doesn't mean that you're horrible. I mean, sure, we can get a lot better, but don't look at it as a reason to quit. At the end of the day, it's just part of the game. Understand that and move forward. So if that was the reason why you clicked on this video and you wanted to quit because of one of those trivial, irrational reasons, you're gonna do 2 things. 1, you're gonna subscribe, go ahead. And 2, you're gonna click off this video because you no longer need the rest of this video. Sure, it's gonna hurt my watch time, but you don't need to watch any more further, especially if the reason why you wanted to quit was an irrational reason. However, if it was a rational reason why you wanted to quit, we need to ask a few questions. So the first most important question I think you should always ask is, why did you start trading in the first place? Sorry, that circle is fucking hideous. Why did you start trading in the first place? It's always a really good question to ask because it reminds you of why you got started. So when I ask myself, I'm pretty sure all traders are the same. I mean, we all got started for the same reason. Money. We've seen someone or something make money in a few minutes and a substantial amount of money, and we started envisioning what life could be if we started making money of this amount. Now, some people are different. Some people just was fascinated by the art and decided to take it up. Whatever your reason is, remember, sit back and go back, why did I start it in the first place? Now, another question that you should ask yourself, and I'll give you time to answer this. Sorry, if I'm kind of jumping through, just let me know to slow down. I'm saying let me know to slow down like this. This is not a video. Anyway, sometimes the reason why you started trading is also no longer the reason why you're continuing to trade every single morning. And that was the fact for me. So going back, right, when I had made this video and whatnot, but going back in the past when I had made this video, the reason why I started trading, of course, was monetary. But as time goes and as time grew, and as 1 year turned into 2 and 2 turned into 4, it became that the reason why I wanted to trade was to gain mastery. And it's unfortunate that we as traders, the only real success metric we know to like determine if we have mastery is monetary. Like, do you make money from this or not? If you do, the answer is probably you got some level of mastery better than others. And it's sad that we look at it that way, but it's it's the truth. Mastery was the biggest reason why I wake up every single morning and I continue to live trade every single day. And it's far different from why I got into it in the first place. And that's perfectly normal, right? So I would first start by asking yourself 3 questions, right? You're starting to have these thoughts that if you want to quit or not. The first question you should ask yourself is, why do you want to quit? And if the reason why you want to quit is an irrational reason, well, then you should probably click off this video and suck it up, buttercup. It's just part of the process, dude. It happens to all of us, and it's just part of the game. But if it's a rational reason on why you want to quit, and I think I should dive more into what a rational reason is. A rational reason is something like you can no longer afford to trade. You run out of funds. Let's say you had a bankroll that you dedicated to trading and it is running out. That's a rational reason to quit. If you have other opportunities that could be more of higher value, or other opportunities that may serve you more that you may want to pursue instead of trading for whatever reasons, this can be other rational reasons as well too. I kind of lost train of thought there because this thought popped up into my mind. Don't get distracted by like shiny object syndrome. So that's like the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. It's not always greener on the other side, right? It's just like now you're in a very sucky period of trading and you see someone make a shit ton of money with a different form of vehicle and you think that that vehicle is better than yours. Don't confuse that as a rational reason, because to be honest with you, it's an irrational reason. You're comparing your level 3 to someone's level 33. It's different. Another rational reason is like mentally, it is affecting your mental health. That is a big reason. And I think that is one that's really not talked about as much. The mental effect that trading has on your brain is, I don't think there's studies done on it, but actually no, there probably was studies done on it, but it is probably not the best. It probably leads to higher stress in later age. Who knows? Anxiety a lot more. But these are examples of rational reasons, not to get caught or to go too much off track here. So these are rational reasons. So then I would say, ask yourself, right? Why do you want to quit? Understand why you want to quit. Make sure it's a rational reason. And if it's a rational reason, then ask yourself, why did you start trading in the beginning? And what's continuing? Like, what is the reason why you continue to trade? Right? Usually, reminding yourself of why you started trading in the beginning is good enough to understand that you don't want to quit. You just are going through a rough period. But if that's the case, you're good. Subscribe and click off the video. But if you have a rational reason of quitting and you've been reminded of why you started trading in the first place and why you continue to trade now, however, you still think that you want to quit trading, we need to go into phase 2 or step 2. And the step 2 would be estimating expected value of continuing. So if I continue to trade, what is the expected value? As a trader, I know you know what expected value is, right? Probability times outcome. But so little do we apply that same formula to everyday things in life. So like expected value, we do have a formula for determining the future expected value of continuing to trade. So it's not going to be accurate, but estimate. It's pretty good. So probability of success times payoff potential minus future cost. This will determine what the future value of continuing to trade would be. So let's first start with probability of success. So when I was in this stage, I had to quantify what probability of success is. How do you quantify what you think? How do you quantify if you'd be successful or not in a percentage amount? And I feel like all of us just have that inner intuition, that gut feeling. Like we're right there, but it's just like a few tools that we're missing. If that's what you feel, I would say your probability of success is somewhere in the 70 to 80 mark. So just mark that down. If you feel like completely lost, right, and you don't know exactly what you're doing, like if you just feel lost, as in like a whole, you're more probably on the 30 to 20 range. If you're anywhere in that middle, then you'll be right there. We know there will never be 100% probability of success. So get that out of your mind. And 90 is exaggerating. So we'll do 80 as our cap. So you can use your probability of success. Now the next is the potential payoff. So there is monetary potential payoff, which we all know, right? Making income from trading. Let's say, it could be as little as $2,000 a month to $200,000 a month, right? But there's also other payoffs that we don't really take a look at. For me, the most valuable payoff was the fact that I've been trading I've been trading for about 4 years total. And this has been beating my ass every single year. And just the idea of being able to master trading, and I use master vaguely here in the lack for better words, but I want to say almost beat trading, right? Like I'm able to understand you. I'm able to perform at a high level and make income from this after getting my ass handed to me for 4 straight years. The level of confidence that would give me would be life-changing. And I say that because it wouldn't matter what I decide to get into. I would know that, yeah, this is gonna suck for a very long period of time, but I have proof that I was able to go through that hardship and still win. And that is probably the most beneficial payout, especially if you're a trader that's been unprofitable or a break-even trader for a little while. So for me, the potential payoff was very high. For you, it may be different. For you, that may not matter as much. Maybe it's just monetary. Maybe it's, I'll get to trade to buy my mom a house or whatever your goals are, right? That's what you'll look at as the potential payoff. Now, the future cost. The future cost, of course, has its monetary cost, right? So how much is it costing you monthly? For me at this time, it was costing me about maybe $100 monthly. But then there's also the energy cost. Like, how much energy is this costing you, right? Are you like obsessively thinking about this every single time? Or like as soon as you get off the charts, you can go on about your day, right? Is this, taking up a bunch of time as well? That's another cost, right? How much hours of the day is this taking up? Is it taking up 8 hours of the day, or is it just taking up 1, right? So for me, it was just taking up 1. And then pretty much after my trading sessions, no matter what really happened, I didn't really have it kind of affecting my energy too much. Now, I will say, I notice sometimes if I have a bad trading session, I will kind of have a slow start into the day. But so long as I get my wheels up and running, it'll really rarely ever have an effect on me. But you look at these 3 things and then you determine what the future value is. So for me, is it still valuable pursuing trading? Yes. Why? Because the probability of success is kind of high for me. And I don't mean to be cocky, but I'm advancing a lot faster than I was 3 months ago. The potential payoff is, well, extremely valuable, not only monetary, but to my personality, my characteristics as a whole, my being. It's very valuable. And last but not least, the future cost of continuing is that of a hobby to me. So the future value alone is worth continuing to pursue when it came to me. Now, it may be different for you, but this is where you're asking yourself these questions, right? Ask yourself, like, what I believe is the probability of success? What I believe is the potential payoff? And like, what is the future cost? Like, what is it costing me now? And what do I think the future cost may be? Also, don't forget about opportunity costs. So you could be pursuing other things. That is also another future cost that I kind of left out. So then after you get done, you should ask yourself, is the future outlook worth? For me, the answer is yes. If the answer is like yes for you, you're going to do 2 things. 1, subscribe. And 2, click off the video. If the answer is no, it's not worth it. Then to be real with you, we might be quitting. But hold on, we got one more phase that we got to go through and take a look at. So we have to explore other opportunities. What does exploring other opportunities look like? Holy shit, that's pretty bad. So it kind of just looks like, you know how you just did the future expected value for continuing to trade? You're just going to do that exact same thing for other fields. Now, what I would say is probability of success, be very, very pessimistic about that. So say probably no higher than 40%. Potential payoff, whatever you believe the potential payoff is, have that. But future cost is the one thing that you won't really know too much. So this is when you can do your research on it, but try and be pessimistic on that as well too. I find that I know it's not the sunshine and rainbows thing to do, but being pessimistic has you more prepared than being optimistic. Sad truth. Some really key questions that you should ask yourself if you are exploring other options and what you can do is exactly what would you be doing with the time you would get back if you quit trading? So me personally, I never had to reach this level because I understood what the future payoff was worth and the future outcome looked like, and that was good enough for me to continue. But if you're in this phase, you should really ask yourself, like, wait, if I quit trading, what am I gonna do with that slot of time? Am I gonna go to the gym and work out more, right? Am I going to, try and be more social? Or am I just gonna replace it with bullshit? Really figure out what you would do with that time, energy, and money you would get back. And then the next thing you're gonna ask is like, are they higher in EV? So whatever else I would be doing, is it higher in expected value? The answer is no. You either do two things. One, you find something that is, or two, you decide to double down on trading. But I wanna give a side note here because I notice that a lot of people will tend to go for outside perspectives on their current situation. Now, this is a very hot take. If anything, I think this is flammable. But I think viewing outside perspectives aren't as helpful as you would like to think. I think they're more damaging than helpful. Now, this is a direct view, almost a transparent view into my character as a person. I do not like taking outside perspectives for two main reasons. One of my core values is autonomy, or full control over my thoughts, my behaviors, my actions, everything. Now, I know I can't fully ever get that in this life, but I can get pretty damn close. One of the biggest things is taking other people's perspectives. You also have to kind of be them and looking at them. If there's someone who disapproves of trading in the first place, what do you think their perspective is going to be? Yeah, you should definitely go look at that other thing. There's someone who approves of trading and let's say they're delusional to it. What do you think their perspective is going to be? Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. You should not quit. You should continue, right? They're going to be biased based off of their perspective. You just need to keep that in mind if you're going for outside for help when it comes to making this decision. But let's say you found an opportunity that would replace trading and would be of higher expected value. And at this point, we should definitely know that we aren't getting almost sirened by the shiny object syndrome, right? Where like, oh, we think this is better until we start actually doing it and realizing it is either A, the exact same, or B, even worse. Then we need to create an exit. And an exit is probably the most uncomfortable thing, right? But this is where like you give yourself the permission to quit. However, like I said, remember, quitting is not failure. Failure is what you determine. It's all on you. At this point, quitting is a smart decision and a smart allocation of your energy, time, and money. So don't feel bad about it. Now, I like to call this the exit date. And this is what I do, and this is exactly what I'm doing on my other channel, where I kind of like, I created a web design agency. So this is what I'm doing, right? It's basically where you will create a certain stipulation of when you will exit, when you will quit, right? So basically you will continue operations for X amount of time. If in that X amount of time you don't achieve said thing or condition doesn't change, you will pursue that said higher expected opportunity that you are or that you were looking towards. So I showed it momentarily in like the beginning of this video with the clip. I basically said like, if I don't get 3 payouts in 30 days, I'm going to quit trading. That's a really good example of an exit date. However, it's also a very delusional because I most definitely was not trying my all to get 3 payouts. I wasn't even doing half of the shit that I'm doing now. So yeah, brutal honesty here. But set an exit date for yourself. And then when that date comes, quit. Knowing that you gave it your all, you tried your absolute best. And at the end of the day, it was no longer worth it for you to continue to pursue trading. I know this video is probably not what you expected. You probably expected a motivational reason on why you should continue trading, but I like to look at things realistically here. And if trading is no longer serving you, then you should by all means give yourself permission to give it the boot. Because at the end of the day, you only live one life, in this world at least. So, let's not use that. That's very controversial. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Well, most likely you probably didn't enjoy the video, but I hope you gained some value out of this video. You know my motto, be a problem solver, and see you guys next time until the last time.